After taking a very short break, I've decided to reappear because this trailer is just way too cool not to talk about. If you haven't seen it, it's less than 2 minutes long, but it is packed with content. I'm not going to be going over the obvious stuff, so hopefully you've watched it. In the first gameplay shot here, there is a lot happening. First, 3 of these players are jumping, which was just not a thing in Dungeons 1. They do this a lot in the trailer, so I think it's going to be a core movement ability. I don't think we ever see someone do the dodge ability from Dungeons 1, so it probably replaces that. You might not have noticed the 4th player in the middle here using what looks like a soul harvester. These waves remind me of the Skulk sound waves, so maybe that's related. They don't seem to be going anywhere though. It's hard to tell what's actually doing damage here and just what's happening in general, but the soul harvester do look like it'd actually be harvesting souls this time instead of just exploding. We have this image of the same scene slightly later, and the soul harvester is definitely doing something. The ice circle is also gone, so that's probably from an artifact. Good to see mob ragdolls are still here as well. Also not sure what these things are. They're probably a collectible, which I'll talk more about later. Here we can see what is almost definitely a new artifact. Looks like the Iron Hide Amulet, but it's an AoE and uses more souls. Music seems to play a big part in this game. Maybe they should have called it something like Minecraft Dungeons Soul Song. They changed what some of the food items are. You can see there's a lot more fruit and vegetable, and there's sure is a lot of it. There's also what looks like a lightning rod from the first game, which is an artifact, but I'm pretty sure you couldn't get artifacts from gold chests in Dungeon 1, excluding the pigs. The glow is bugging out a little, so fix Dungeons 2, Mojang. This person is climbing up the ledge after jumping. I'm guessing verticality will play a much bigger part in here than it did in Dungeons 1. In this shot, there are just these random statues lying around. Maybe they're important. I gotta say, I do really like the designs of some of this gear. Also, what is this area? It kind of reminds me of Obsidian Pinnacle, but it's snowy and shiny. I feel like there's going to be lots of very unique areas in this game. Here we can see the inventory, which has a lot to take in. The armor is split into 4 pieces, but that was leaked like 2 years ago now. But I don't think anyone ever said anything about talismans. If I had to guess, I'd say they just give passive effects compared to artifacts, which are activated abilities. They don't have power levels though, so they probably will be special items that are a lot harder to get, but you only need to get each one once. Also, looks like there might be more than 3 rarities of items this time. It also seems like enchanting is getting reworked, since you need the enchant smith to do it at all now. And I think there's a possibility you'll be locked to 1 enchantment per item now, although I hope you'll at least be able to put multiple on each weapon. I also wonder if enchantments are locked to a later part of the game, since this player is level 29 and none of their gear seems to be enchanted. Or it could just be less obvious now. One improvement here is how the special weapon effects are actually described properly with statistics instead of whatever this is. There's also this more actions option for the weapons, so maybe you'll be able to do more than just salvage it. Also, there is this new item up here, which I have a theory about, I'll explain later. Effects and stats is pretty self-explanatory, it'll probably just be a stat sheet. These tabs in the top left are pretty interesting. First of all, how do you see your other items if it's not in the inventory? Maybe when you press more actions, you'll see every other item of that type and have the ability to swap in a new one. As for collectibles, I'm really not sure what would be here. Probably that weird item from before and some other things. They could be used for trading with certain villagers or maybe crafting. Maybe that's how you get talismans. Map makes me think of a rumor that I heard that this will be open world, although I wonder how that will work with the difficulty system. Maybe it'll be like an open hub world and then you can enter the dungeons from the hub world. The enchanters are back. How bad are enchanted soul mobs going to be? This staff seems to have some lightning powers, which could be interesting considering it doesn't seem to be an artifact. Also, what is this creeper doing? Here we could see a copper monstrosity, which is just really cool. Also, the player jumps over its attack. They also made the corrupted beacon somehow look even better. I have to say, the art style for this game, it's pretty cool. The corrupted beacon still looks like the damage is gonna kind of suck late game though, since it's only doing 5 per hit here, which is a shame because the corrupted beacon is so cool. It's just kinda useless. Here's another weird area unlike anything we've seen before. It makes me wonder if the deep dark dimension will be kind of futuristic, but this could just be a corrupted trial chamber. I do think it's possible we never even see the deep dark dimension, or maybe it'll be like the overworld but fully corrupted. This looks like it could be the new camp after the old one gets completely destroyed. These shots of areas from the first game's DLCs make me think the base Dungeons 2 is going to have areas from Dungeon 1's DLCs, and I'm really curious to see what Dungeons 2 DLCs will be like, since at least 2 DLCs are already confirmed. Oh my goodness, that was a tongue twister. What is in this well? Looks like an entrance, so you'll probably be able to go down there. Here you can see a magical spooky rift just chilling there. Here's another monstrosity, and it looks pretty difficult. This also leads into the theory I was talking about before. I think we may need to kill a bunch of different monstrosities to collect these shards, which we'll have to use somehow to defeat the Twisted Warden. I just hope the monstrosities feel significantly different from each other, and there's plenty of non-monstrosity bosses, because it could get repetitive pretty fast. I do feel like the game will be a decent bit bigger than Dungeons 1 overall, so there's probably going to be room for more bosses. Anyway, the final shot is just a cutscene and there's no hidden details I could find, and I don't really care, so that's all. Bye.